Alright, so I should now be live, theoretically. And I have my chat up. Alright, so I should now be live. I have my audio in the theoretically. Here you go. And this is all working. I'll leave it just in case I need to check if it's working. So, indeed, what is the plan? I don't know yet. Keep trying making a version of Pizza Tycoon. I mean, it's a pretty big game. Yeah. I don't know if I can make that in a couple of hours. Anyhow, the plan for this stream was either to continue on with the Bomberman clone I was working on last stream, or starting something new like maybe Tetris, maybe Go, something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna wait for a couple of you to pitch in if you have any ideas. I mean, Bomberman is perfectly fine. Actually, I should remove that. The stream has started. But yeah. I mean, Manjeet Kumar, I hope I didn't mispronounce your name, is asking how to add glow using scripts. I don't want this to be a tutorial. I want this to be just making a game pretty fast. Not necessarily well, not necessarily anything really, just an opportunity for me to code. Not much more. So yeah. Again, Bomberman last time, actually I'll boot up the game so we can see what we got last time. We got quite a few things going, so we could place bombs down and it would go. And yeah, this is what we made last time. It took about 2 hours, I think. Is there no sound, Bloodsucker? Is that, are you sure? Because, let me check. It should be working. Also, I could hear myself echoing before. Is anyone else not having sound, or is it all good? Okay, there's sound now. Okay, cool. So have I played down? Oh, we could recreate Downfall. Ooh, I've never actually played Downfall, but oh wait, is it Downfall? Oh, sorry, never mind. I completely misread your message here, your comment, and I was thinking of Downwell for a second, which, by the way, looks like a really fun game. Yeah, never mind. Smash TV. No, I haven't played it. Yeah, we could make a twin stick shooter with the controller. Actually, that's a really good idea. So I'm going to go ahead on here. Whoops! Look at this amazing thing. I'm gonna, can I change this? Yes. So we're gonna be making a twin stick shooter. Twin stick shooter. That should be enough. Or building a, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it like that. You guys all know what I do. Make games. Alright, so this can go back in the background and my chat. I'm actually gonna grab my controller. Yeah, because if we're making a twin stick shooter, we need a controller. So I have this nice Xbox controller here. Oops, that's my water. And I need to use Visa. So yeah, a twin stick shooter could be a lot of fun. I'm just gonna plug this in. Where can I plug this in? I can plug this in here. And for that, we're gonna start a new project. So file, new project. Of course, we're doing GML. I actually have not played much with drag and drop yet in ooh, that's no good. Yeah, in GameMaker Studio 2. Drag and drop I haven't done much of. In fact, I haven't done any of it in GameMaker Studio 1.4 either, I think. Only GameMaker 7, actually. Okay, this is not good. My I'm gonna minimize this. I'm actually gonna close this. But yeah, my GameMaker seems to have crashed. Let me just. Oh, it's always like this when you want to stream, isn't it? Things crash on you. Just gonna make sure my stream's actually still up. Oh, did I close it? Oh. Oh. There we go. Yeah, my studium set up. Cool. Cool. All right. I'm gonna remind me later. I don't need the update right now. And can I put this on the side? Okay. So new, of course we're doing GML. Okay, hasn't crashed. That's okay. All right, and I'm gonna call this twin stick shooter live stream. There we go. Yeah, so I haven't made a twin stick shooter actually ever, I think, that I know of. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. It shouldn't be too hard though. Most of the controls are pretty straightforward. I think the way we're not gonna be cloning a game this time. We're just gonna make whatever. So I'm gonna start with a sprite just so we have a basic thing that we can move around. So a simple circle should be good. I'm gonna make it a red circle, and we can always make something else with it later. Call it let's call it S player. Okay, and let's make a player. Oh wait, actually, it's probably worth it to put the origin at the center. And now we can go ahead. So what I'll do is make a very simple movement code at first. So I'm just going to add a step event. There we go. And this is probably way too small. Let's just... There we go. I hope you can see this fine. So this will just be movement code. So first we're gonna... Ooh, actually, if we want to do this correctly, we should first get our devices and so on. So we have a create event, and I'm going to call this init, because that's what it will do. So we need to get our gamepad. So there's gamepad, device, is it? No, gamepad number. I actually don't remember how to use gamepads. Okay, the gamepad device get count. Okay, well, we can assume that our gamepad is going to be connected for now. In fact, I'm just going to connect it now. So I'm going to say that the device will be equal to 0. Let's call it input device. By the way, if you guys have any idea for this twin stick shooter, let me know in the chat, because I'm just going to do whatever I think of. So if you have an idea for a cool mechanic or whatever, put it in the comments and I'll implement it as soon as I can. I think that'll be pretty cool. Ooh, before I forget, let's make this 60 FPS. Oh yeah, you may have noticed I'm streaming at a lower quality this time. 720p 30 instead of 1080p 60. Last time my computer got pretty hot, and it was a bit worrying, so that's why. I'm also now using NVNC and all that. It should be a lot smoother. Well, less smooth for you guys, but it should be a lot smoother on my computer. It won't heat up as much. Won't be burning my fingers again. So yeah, so we have a move speed, and now we can get the gamepad input. So I can say gamepad axis value. Now actually we're gonna need the documentation for this, because I don't know my gamepad constants. Okay, so I'm gonna say that the left stick will be movement and the right stick will be the right stick will be shooting. So input device, and the index, I can't actually remember. What was it? GP axis left horizontal. Whoops, I didn't mean to close this. GP underscore axis left horizontal. So that will be a horizontal value. I can actually close this down. Say var ix for input x. I'm gonna make this smaller, I'm sure it's big enough. Var input y will be equal to gamepad axis value input device gp axis left vertical. I can now normalize this, so I'll do var il for input length will be equal to the square root of input x times input x plus input y times input y. And I then divide my ix by l, only if l is... Actually, what I should do up here is say... Wait, do I want to normalize it? Because we want to be able to move more slowly if we don't... Hang on, no. Inputs and controllers are already normalized because if you're in an angle, it'll be 765 or 75 or whatever. So we don't need to normalize this because it's a circle that we travel along. Meaning we can just do x plus is equal to ix times move speed and y plus is equal to iy times move speed. And if I just bring up my room over here, put an object and, oh, I should probably rename this to player and run. And I've got the controller here. I'm able to move it around. Now there is drifting, so I'm gonna have to add some dead zones. But yeah, this feels incredibly smooth, as it should. I think what I'll do is add I don't know if I should add acceleration and all that, because we want it to be pretty snappy, I think. In fact, it already looks pretty smooth as it is. So, let's remove the drifting. We don't need this room anymore. Why are we getting a... Yeah, we're just... This is just the GameDevelopment IDE being a bit derp. And we can say gamepad. What is it? Is there no dead zone somewhere? Oh, it's threshold access dead zone. Here we go. So our device is input device, and I don't know what it ranges. Okay, it ranges between 0 and 1, so we can go with something pretty small like 0.1 or something. Run that, and I just want to... Okay, this is already... I'm just going to check that we are still live and good, yeah. Sorry, I've been a bit paranoid with my streaming setup. Okay, so now you can see there is absolutely no drifting, and the dead zone seems just about right. I can still give it a slight nudge. Now, if I were doing this properly, I would probably have a preference and so on for the dead zone, but I think this will do for now. Alright, so that is the movement part. It still feels very, very smooth, and I'm not sure how much I like that. It feels very floaty, if you know what I mean. Maybe if I use the curve on the acceleration, that would do something. So I could square my inputs. And since it should go up to 1, it won't impact my speed. That should work. So I'll have a much snappier experience, I believe. I don't know, I'm experimenting. Oh, I need to multiply by the sign afterwards. Ooh, this is getting a bit weird, but... Actually, I could multiply by the absolute... Here we go, let's do this. I don't know if this is going to feel better or not, or... I don't know, it just feels very, very floaty right now. So I just want to see how this feels. Ooh, it does feel a lot snappier now. Yeah, having this curve now is pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, I can't really... You probably can't really see it, but it feels a lot snappier with this... by essentially making smaller values even smaller and larger values, well, just about the same. It's a bit weird to explain. Alright, so now that we have movement, we want to have shooting. And if we're going to shoot, we're going to want little bullets and stuff. So we're going to quickly create a new sprite. Probably resize it. Where is it? Resize all frames. Let's make something pretty small. Okay, and we can just make a small like circle. Actually, that's probably still too big. I'm gonna shrink the player later on. I'm thinking kind of making the bullets glow and stuff like that would be pretty fun. Resize all frames. Let's make an 8x8 white circle. So this is S bullet. Oops, bullet. I'm gonna keep it with a square mask and middle center the origin. We can create a quick bullet object. So Kumar is asking to add glow in player, in enemy, in everything. When player shoots, make the bullet also glow. When enemy die, make the explosion pretty flashy and glowing. This will be good. Yeah, I'm thinking getting the same kind of graphics that you know, this I can never remember the name, but this shooter, like vertical scrolling shooting game. I can't remember what it's called. I hopefully know what I'm talking about. So yes, I'm gonna try to see if I can't get something to look a bit like that, but top down. I'm not sure how I'll do the glow. I could use a shader, could just use a blend mode. Probably the easiest way is to use a surface in the blend mode. So let's see. We want this to, when it goes outside of the room, we want to destroy it. Save that. Go back to our player object and add some shooting code. So up here was movement code. Movement, that's how you spell it, isn't it? I think. So, what this will be is, first of all, we want to get our input. So, we're gonna get the axis right vertical and right horizontal. Let's call this SX and SY for shoot X and shoot Y. And then we only want to shoot if you have a certain amount. If you go over a certain amount, right? You don't shoot if you don't press the thing. So we can say shoot threshold. Is that how it's spelled? I'm gonna assume it is. And let's set it to 0.5. Wow, that was hard. And then we can say that the length of SX and SY is the square root of SX times SX plus SY times SY. And let's see. Let's see. Wait, I need to reply to that. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we got this, the length, and we can say if the length is greater than, I cannot remember name, shoot threshold, fine. Then we can start shooting. So we can do, let me think, we probably want to normalize our X and Y so that we have a direction. So we can say SX divided is equal to SL, that's right, and SY divided is equal to SL as well. Now I see there's ooh, what about, oh, that's a really good idea, Kuro. I like that idea. Ooh, that's a brilliant idea, and I know just the way to do it. Okay, I need to change the title of the stream to SuperHot Demake, because that's a brilliant idea. So how do I do this? I guess I go here, pause this, rename it to SuperHot Demake. SuperHot Demake. Or maybe SuperHot Twin Stick Demake. Here we go. Renamed. Yeah, don't think there's any mistakes in here. Save that. Ooh, and I should probably, something I didn't do, oh, I have to go to my live streaming thing. Ooh, how do I do that? Ooh, that's complicated. I'm still not used to this whole YouTube streaming thing. I want to set the start and end. So create highlight right now. So now is the time that we start this stream. So yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, I think the stream will only start now. I'm not entirely sure, because I don't know how it works. But we have a pretty simple movement code here. And we're making a SuperHot Demake, and that was a brilliant idea by Kuro here in the chat, which you cannot see because my face is probably over it. But as more people... Actually, I could probably move this up, but it's too much work. So, we now have, if we're shooting more than... sorry, if SL is greater than shooting, and we have our input normalized, that means that we can now decide on a bullet velocity. So, bullet velocity is equal to, let's say, 10 pixels per step. And I can now do var bullet is equal to instance create layer x, y, layer, and the object is bullet if I actually renamed it, which I don't think I did. So yeah, I didn't rename it. So bullet. There we go. And that should all work just fine. So now we have our bullet. We can set its velocity. Actually, I should probably multiply sx and xy by... What I'll do is I'll actually do it in a single thing here. I'll do times is equal to bullet velocity divided by SL. And I'll just copy this whole thing here. Here we go. And now I can say bullet.hspeed equals sx and bullet.vspeed equals sy. And now if I save and run, this should work. So here we go. Look at that. Woo! It's working perfectly. And it's looking pretty good. So now we have this. Let's actually implement that idea of a SuperHot Demake where time only moves when you move. So let's think about how we were going to do this. And I'm thinking all we have to do is implement delta time and have a global delta time value that we can just change. So what we will have, I think, we can either use a combination of macros and global variables. So let's create a new script. What is it? Alt-C, is it? Yes. Let's call it time. Time is fine. And this will have some of our global information for time. So we're going to have global dot, let's see, time factor, which will be how much the time is moving by each step. We can initialize it to 0. And then we can have a macro, which will say delta. Is delta time already a variable? Alright, well, we can make this simple on ourselves. Make dt, which will be delta time. And dt will be global.time factor multiplied by delta time. But delta time, I believe, is in milliseconds. Microseconds even. So we need to multiply it by 1 million to get it in seconds, or divided by 1 million. So divided by 1,000. Here we go. And just in case, put it in parentheses. Alright, so now we have this. However, we want to initialize it. So again, GML pragma. Global and time. Here we go. So our player will move using its own delta time because we want it to move regardless of the time factor. It will set the time factor. So what we can say, I'm not sure, we should probably have some sort of acceleration. Or we could probably use the speed at which the player is currently moving. Yeah, that will probably work. So what we can do now is find the length of our time factor. So what we can say is, if we do that, we need to make sure, actually it won't matter, we can get a 1 frame delay at worst. So we can say var L equals 0, and then say that if ix is not equal to 0 and iy is not equal to 0, then we have that L is equal to the square root of ix times, let's put these together so it's clear we're squaring, plus iy times iy, and that global dot time factor is equal to L. Actually, we should move this over here. Now, let's change it so that our bullet, let's find our bullets object over here. Let's create a nice create event. And the way we will init our bullet is with 2 new variables called dx and dy. Let's not make things too verbose. So difference in x and difference in y, it should be fine. And in here, we can say bullet.dx equals sx and bullet.dy equals sx. However, we're now dealing in pixels per second. So we probably want to go back to our bullet velocity and set it to something a bit bigger, like 300, maybe, if I'm doing my maths right, maybe 600. Oh, we can find out later. We probably also want our character to move using delta time. Not using the newly defined delta time, but using GameMaker's delta time. So move speed equals 5, but we want it to change depending on... We want it to change, let's see, we're running at 60 FPS, so we need to multiply that by 60. So that's what, like 300? Okay, so that probably needs to be 600 if I did my math. So I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to call this adjusted data time, which will be our delta time times our global factor. And then we can have just our dt, which is going to be delta time divided by 1 million. And to avoid code reuse, we can have over here dt. And to make sure we don't mess things up later, make sure you use parentheses. Save that. Alright, so our player will actually move according to dt. And our bullets, we can now modify to move using our adjusted data time, delta time. So we can say move, we can have x plus equal to dx times adjusted delta time, which apparently is on a macro, which doesn't seem right since we have it right here. Oh, dt, not td. And y plus equal to dy times adjusted delta time 2. So we can save that, and now if we run it, we should see that the bullets only move when we move. If we don't have some problem. I don't see, oh, we have a, at the end of a macro, you don't put a semicolon. Alright, so we can move around like before, but now if we shoot, you can see the bullets only move when we move, and if we move just ever so slowly... Oh, hang on, that's not quite right. Ooh, yes, of course. So what we have now is that... Oh no, hang on, that doesn't make sense. Wait, something weird was happening. So I create a bunch of bullets, and now I can move without it. Oh. Oh, hang on. It should be if it's not equal to 0 or y is not equal to 0. Hey, thanks, Choi TV. Alright, so. Yep, here we have it. It's only moving when we move, and if we move slowly, it's moving slowly. If we move fast, it's moving at the full speed. Nice. I actually haven't played SuperHot. I probably should. This is looking good. Alright, so one thing we should do is have it such that once we just created a bullet, there is a short amount of time in which the time still progresses. So what we can do, and it should probably like slow down as well, like have this kind of slowing down effect. So what we can have inside our time.gml, we can add a new global .time underscore. I'm not sure how to call this, like time offset, maybe. And that's equal to 0 for now. We can modify our time factor to have, let me think, no, sorry, I'll adjust delta time to take our global.time factor and add to it our global.time offset, but make sure we limit it between 0 and 1. So we can say clamp, here is our value, and we want to offset it between 0 and 1. So I think that will work. All we need to do now is have an object that will control time. Let's quickly create a new object. time, and we can go inside step. In here we'll say if global dot will it autocomplete for me. Time offset is greater than 0. Global dot time offset minus equals 1. Ooh, actually, let's make this. Let's say it takes. I should probably use delta time here. Yes, minus equals delta time. Which means that whenever we create a bullet, let's go inside our player. Player, yep. Actually, it's over here, isn't it? Whenever we create a bullet, we want to say global.time offset equals to, and let's say we're giving ourselves 1 second of 0.3 seconds of time offset, something like that. If I now grab this and add the time, save and run. It's obviously not working for some reason. Let me close my room. Let's see. Whenever we create an object, we set the time offset to 0.3. That should be 0.3 seconds. And then our time object decreases it by the current time. I should probably say as well if global.time offset is smaller than 0. Wait, what I should check first is to make sure a whole DT thing still works. So if I shoot and move, it should still work. I cannot move. I must have messed up the wrong DT, is my guess. Let's see. Nope. I got the adjusted delta time. But for some reason my player isn't moving anymore. And I'm not entirely sure what that could be. Somehow adding the neo adjusted data time messed up this whole... sorry, adding the new time offset messed everything up. This is the right parentheses here and here. Let's run this again, see what happens. I didn't change anything, of course it's not going to change. Maybe... Wait, let's just remove the time offset for now from the this whole calculation. Oh, I'm clamping between 0 and 1, that's just wrong. I should be clamping to global time factor. No. Yes, global, no. The time offset... I don't even know when I'm clamping anymore. I was clamping to avoid... I should be using the larger of the two. That's what I should be doing. Here we go. So we can say max time factor and time offset. That should fix everything. Unless I forget a parenthesis somewhere. Yep, over here. Alright, so now if I oh no, it still wasn't working. Yeah, the reason, the thing making me freeze is kind of weird. I'm going to remove the time object for now, see if that was the problem. If anyone knows the answer, or knows the problem, by the way, please comment it. Okay, this is very strange. Let me go back in time my O time. Remove this whole time offset thing. Try to find out where the problem lies. That really should fix everything, since it's back to how it was before. Yeah, nope, it's still not working, which is very, very strange to me. I'm gonna add a small animation to make sure everything is still running perfectly. Like, I'm gonna copy this, paste it, delete this one. Quickly make this one white. Be careful, this if you have epilepsy, look away. This is me checking to see that the game is still running. Yep, okay, we don't need this anymore. So yeah, the game is running. For some reason my player isn't moving anymore, and I really don't know why. What do you mean, what is better, tower defense games or 2D RPG games? Marco. I like RPGs probably, I don't know. As a kid I would play a lot of tower defense games that were super fun. Is my controller working? No, it's not actually. I just realized it was unplugged for a second. Kumar, thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my brother, if he's on camera.
Yeah.
He's gonna order me pizza, so I'm pretty happy about
I'm the
that.
pizza bitch.
Right. So yeah, it was a controller not working.
Sorry, 1 second. Felix.
Should I mute it?
No, it's fine. Hoe meen je dat?
No.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was totally that. My controller wasn't plugged.
You're
Okay.
playing a game with a bow and Fibonacci circles.
Sure.
What pizza do you want?
There's this like extravaganza one on Domino's.
Wait, I'll go on the website and I'll...
Sure.
How many people are watching?
I don't know. Let me check. Right now, 13.
Hello, 13 people.
Let me put my chat back up.
Okay, shut up.
Do I have any advice on how to start with GameMaker? I followed a bunch of tutorials and got the hang of the basics. I must put quickly one of my own devices.
Oh wait, maybe I should move my computer.
I'm not It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've learned it mostly by looking at examples and changing them. They're saying hello to you, by the way.
Cool. Hi everyone.
So yeah, I mostly did it that way. So I remember I learned a lot of the 3D stuff with this one, or two 3D examples. One of them was, I think, maybe it was one of the... It was one of those Doom style shooters. I learned a lot of 3D from that. And then this other one, which was this really cool FPS. I basically kept taking it and changing part of it and until eventually I changed everything. And that's how I learned most of the 3D, for example. It's probably how I learned most of the rest of GameMaker. A lot of what I use now is actually more stuff I learned from applying theory. But I think to get started, just looking at examples and changing the examples. As soon as you can change the example to do something that you really want it to do, it means you understand the code. So,
Felix,
yeah.
you know, in the corner of the street, is that Domino's or is it a New York pizza?
It's a New York pizza, but Domino's is close too.
Yeah, because Domino's is a free delivery.
Yeah, just get Domino's.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's
Let's see.
good. We have a chicken combo box.
So we can put up the time object back in here. I hope I didn't remove anything in the time object now. Okay. I don't quite remember what else I'm supposed to add. So we have our time offset. I think we can run it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about the noise. Which
Right,
piece
so
are
we can
we
still move, we can shoot. And as you can see, when we start shooting, there's this kind of offset thing, which I think is pretty close to how it does it in SuperHot. And it looks pretty neat. Alright. So yeah, I have to choose pizza now. And
sorry guys, 1 second.
I think if you go in here... No, just go on that website.
No, it's easier if I do it from this
Okay.
website.
Just get me
Do
something
you want me
with...
to pick you one?
Yeah, pick me with enough vegetables and a bit of meat.
Alright. Cheese?
Cheese. Not just cheese. Just
So not a like quattro formaggio.
No. Just vegetables.
I'll try and pick
vegetables.
something you like.
Cool. They never really stop the bullets. Is that right? Well, what we can do... They slow down to a crawl. Well, in object time, that's actually... Again, I love using delta time and having this adjusted delta time. I have it in most of my games. In case I have like a pulse menu or something, I can just set the adjusted delta time to 0. Here, what I can do is is inside the create event, we can have a variable called min time, or yeah, sure. It doesn't. We can set it to something like 0.1 of a second.
What do you think of this one? The extra.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah?
Yeah, I want that pizza. And we can say if it's bigger than min time, we can remove dt, and if it gets smaller than min time, we can set it to min time. So now we have a minimum time.
Sorry, cheesy crust or Italian, which is 30 centimeters?
30 centimeters one. Yeah, I feel like half of this live stream is gonna be me ordering pizza. So yeah, as you can see, it's now slowing down to a crawl. I still think it's a bit too fast. We can probably slow that down. 0.5 of that. Yeah, I saw you.
Sorry, 2 pizzas, 25 euros.
Yeah, I know. I'll pay. Yeah.
That's alright?
Yeah, it's alright.
Alright, I'll order now.
You'll probably need my card. Oh, I can't pay online with my card, but I have PayPal. I have PayPal.
Yeah, but do you have the you know that fucking e-reader?
I have mine, but I can pay with PayPal.
I can pay with my card, it's fine.
Okay, I have it's in the front
If
of
you
my
have e-readers,
backpack. Okay, yeah, I think that feels like a good crawl. Sorry, in SuperHot the offset is more violent. It's our SuperHot the grinds to creep very fast. Okay, again, we can change that pretty easily. Go in here, minus dt, okay. We could square dt. Ooh, I don't know if that's gonna work well. Let's find out. What would be really cool to see in... No, that's not working right. Yeah, I'll just leave it as it is. We can always fine-tune later. I think a really cool feature for GameMaker to have would be a curves editor. I know we have paths, but they're not quite the same because they're quite hard to control precisely. A curve editor would be really nice for this kind of like adjustments. Shameless plug, play called SuperHot. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's a clone as well. Yes.
And, oh, never mind. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll be done soon. And then
It's okay. It's okay. It's just a chill live stream. Though it is getting recorded and posted on YouTube, so
yeah, that's fine. I'm
will know you know.
I'm slowing everyone down.
It's cool. So yeah, so we probably should add enemies now, which is interesting because it means AI, and AI is always fun. Let's see. The player being red is probably going to be confusing, so what I'll do is I'll basically clone this, duplicate, name this one S enemy. So the enemy can be red, and the player will be, well, not red, light blue. Seems just about right. Now all the walls in SuperHot are white, aren't they? So we can have a new. Yeah, we should probably have walls and stuff. Oh, we could use a tile map. Yes, we're using a tile map for sure. So let's edit this. Let's add. What am I looking for? This here. So we will have a white wall and we will have nothing. And for now, this will be just fine. I probably need to rename this as tiles. And I probably need a tile map as well. So that's a timeline. And that's not what I'm looking for. I don't know what the Alt key for tile sets is. Is it B for some reason? Okay. And as soon as I create a tile set, GameMaker obviously becomes unstable, but I don't even know what that means. So T walls. Right here, it's going to be 32 by 32. Alright, see you, Choi. Have fun making games, I guess. Let's open the room editor and add a tile map layer below the instance layer probably. And add a bunch of walls everywhere. I think I'll add collisions with walls before I add AI. Because the AI will probably need to avoid walls anyways. I'll just make a very simple kind of level here. Here we go, that's good enough for now. We can save that, go back, and I could just copy the code I had for my Bomberman project last week. I think I will. How do I do that? I'll have to go browse for it. It's in the projects. What? Oh, did I not put it on there? I don't know why I put my project. I could just rewrite the code. Alright, if you have to go too, Michael, I'll see you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I put it on the streams probably. Yeah, here it is. So yeah, I'll copy the same code I had last week. It's pretty similar to my tutorial code as well, although I'm using a for loop instead of snapping back using the bit twiddling.
The pizzas are ordered. I'll wait downstairs.
Yeah, cool.
I'll bring you your food.
Yeah, thanks.
You guys have fun.
It's probably on the game step 0. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I can just copy this section here.
Felix, your next tutorial should be on how to hack into the Matrix.
Sure, I'll research it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we want our movement code over here. I'm just gonna paste this right here. So change that to
Sorry.
Well, actually, I have
Phoenix,
dx and dy right
but
here.
just for more internet points, I think you all should meet Aqua the cat.
Oh yeah,
That's some
that's
good internet points.
my
Oh, she doesn't
cat.
want to be here though. But
yeah. I don't know if you can see her on stream. Let's bring up the. Yes, she's right here. She's
here is a
right
cat.
here.
Oh, she does not want to be
she
here
does not
though.
want to be here. Actually,
But there
we
you
don't
go.
need this.
Okay, sorry. Peace out.
Yeah, see ya.
Aqua.
I don't remember what I was doing. Got distracted by the cat. Yeah, so we need to get the tile map for this to work. And I'm gonna change that to... I'm gonna remove that here. Change that to T1 or T2. Remove this here. T1 and T2. So yeah, essentially this has a for loop, which loops one for every amount of pixels you want to move. And it then breaks the loop as soon as it hits a wall. It uses the bounding boxes as well to check tile maps. It's quite similar to... Let's say this is time. It's quite similar to the way I did in my tile map collision tutorial. So the only difference is that it's I'm not bit twiddling to snap. I'm using a for loop to only move the amount I want to move. The reason was it was acting pretty weird when I was working on the Bomberman code. So, and it's efficient enough. It's not the fastest, but it's fast enough. All right, now we need to get the map. So in here, we can say, well, let's actually go in here, rename this walls, close the room, var l equals layer get, what is it, layer get by ID from get ID, okay, here we go, and I called it walls, and then var, just actually map is equal to layer tile get, or is it tile layer get? Tile map get. Oh, just tile map. Layer tile map get ID. These names are so confusing. So now I think it will be good for the collisions, though I haven't implemented them for the bullets just yet. But whoa, that's way too fast. Yeah, something needs to be adjusted. So. Oh, I'm multiplying by move speed over here, which I'm not supposed to. Because I already multiplied it before. Alright. So as you can see, I now collide with the walls, which is nice. And it seems to be working just fine. And again, this input feels so nice. It's probably just the controller. I'm not used to playing with controllers. Okay. Save that. Go now to the bullet and have it collide with the map. So every step I can say if I collide either on each corner, I'm not sure how to do it, or if I collide with the center, there's quite a number of ways to do it. I think I'll go with the simple one, which is just gonna say var t is equal to I'm gonna need to get the map as well here. Okay, let's copy this right here. I could make a global variable for it, but I feel like maybe, you know, different objects will need to collide with different tile maps someday, at which point I'll want the flexibility. I don't know. I still haven't quite found a good way to go around this. If I do, I'll probably post it somewhere. var t is equal to tile map get, I'll probably make this full screen now. Get add pixel map. Oh, never mind. X and Y. If T instance destroy. So now let's check that we can collide with the wall. Well, the bullets destroy themselves when they touch a wall. And as we can see, they do. I can make a big stream of bullets this direction and they get deleted every time. Cool. So now we can start building enemies. So, the fun part, AI. I'll just clear this workspace, build a new one. Oh, enemy. Grab the enemy one. It will have much of the same thing. So move. So in it will have move speed as well. Set it to something similar. So I think it was 300. We need to go ahead and grab. Let's see. This code here, because we're going to be colliding with the same kind of map. In fact, we're probably going to copy these two here. And now let's start going inside here. Let's make that full screen. So what we want is to be able to use, to move through the map. We should probably use an MP potential grid for that. However, or is it MP grid? I believe we need a global grid so that we don't just destroy our memory. So let's add a pathfinding object, a grid. I'll just create a new object, call it OMP for motion planning. It's not the best name, but it will have to do for now. So we need to get, we need to get the map like before. Am I in the right? No, I'm in the wrong bit. Let's see. Where's my workspace? I'll make this full screen. Alright, so, whoops. Oh, I can't believe I copied the wrong bit. So this is... Am I loving the new studio? Some of it I am. A lot of it I'm not, actually. I like some of the things they did. Such as... I mean, the new editor is better. I just really don't like workspaces. Workspaces are just absolutely useless. I also don't like the fact that GML is basically still GML. And, yeah, that's essentially it. Alright, so I don't remember how this works. Okay, yeah. So it will start 0, 0. What's wrong with GML? I mean, the fact that every single script has to be in a different resource gets incredibly annoying when you make, more complex algorithms which require smaller scripts, and a lot of them. Everything is in the same namespace, so if I have lots of things which are similarly named, I have to give them really, really long names. For instance, last time I had a vision system which would use all these things that I would call shadows, but I will also have shadows because I also had a lighting system. And I wasn't sure, I would have to call them a light shadow and a vision shadow and so on. And the names just get really, really long. So having namespace would be nice. And just object orientation in general would be great, so that structures can be better defined. Right now, objects are absolutely not the best. They're great for like game objects. They're absolutely terrible with working with algorithms. So most of my complex projects have moved to Java or C# or something because of that. So we really love to see better GML. All right, MP grid create. Number of cells. I'm gonna say tile map get. Is that get width? What, does that give me number of tiles? Yeah, perfect. Map. Tile map. Get height. Map. Should they add C# or something? I would love it if they would add C# or they probably won't add C#. I think JavaScript is a lot more likely. There are some good indications that they are going to add languages. I mean, I'm sorry for those of you who are interested in the development right now, but if you check here, this whole section for languages with GML all on its own, I have a good feeling that they're going to populate this someday. I would love to see either an extended GML with a lot more features, which they already are adding some, they said in the roadmap. But I'll be a lot more interested in seeing a whole new, like an already proven language. It'll be so much better for just learning in general, because there'll already be lots of examples, not necessarily from GameMaker around. It's also a much more powerful language. Something like JavaScript or C#, much more powerful languages than GML. GML is pretty terrible. Is it worth buying GMS2? If you have 1.x, probably not. If you have 8, definitely. And like the problem with GMS2, it's not quite there yet. It's not quite big of a jump enough. It has lots of quality of life improvement. If you love tile maps, maybe it's worth it. I know I love tile maps, but I don't think it was worth it for me outside of YouTubing. Whoops, I inverted my width and height over here. Alright, back to building this game. So I have my grid. Save that. I can now place it in here. And what I like to do with instances, when they're in the room and I need to reference them, rather than referencing them as OMP, I like to give them a new name, starting with I for instance MP. And I do that for my global objects, so that rather than always saying OMP dot OMP.grid, I can use IMP.grid, and it's more correct in a way. Why am I coding in GML? Because I like GML. It gets you started. I mean, I like GameMaker engine. It gets you started real quick. I would love to be able to use another language in GameMaker. I mean, I do use other game engines. I like using not really Unity and stuff like that. I like because they're not quite for me. I do use libgdx, for instance. The problem is it gets a lot of work to get started, so a live stream like this would be a lot less interesting. I mean, I already have lots and lots of... I already, like, go on lots and lots of tangents, so yeah, you can see how it will be even worse if you had more to get started with. So what we want to do here, we have our map, but we want to know we want to get a path. So we can say path equals path add, is it? Yes, it's not even path create. And cool, yeah, that's totally what I do every time. I'm working on this tactics space, like this roguelike tactics space. I built it in GameMaker twice, and I finally said, you know, it's not worth it. I moved to Java, and it's going a lot smoother. It's a lot slower because I have a lot more to implement, but it's working a lot better. It's a lot faster. It's a lot more flexible. There's a lot I can do, which I couldn't in GameMaker. So yeah. So yeah, in here I want to say if path if, let's say, is GML a hobby language for me? It is a hobby language for me. I'm not working on a big game in GameMaker. I am working on big game in Java, but I doubt it's ever gonna become that big. Yeah, hopefully, but I don't think so. What we want to do is, first of all, get the last point of our path and check if it's close to our enemy. Or if there's a line of sight to our enemy. I'm not sure how to do this with our state. Checking whether our path is still valid. We probably do need to use paths. This is going to be a bit complicated. If... Yes, I'm not sure. Actually, yeah. We could make AIs a lot more dumb than they are right now. Would I suggest GML? No, I would honestly suggest Java. I mean, I learned GML first, and I can now use Java, C# and all that. C++, C, JavaScript. They're all pretty much similar. But if you know Java, it'll be really easy to learn GML. If you know GML, Java won't necessarily be that easy. I'm a college student. I'm a university, if that's what you mean. Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's enough tangents. I mean, keep asking questions, but I think I need to concentrate on how I'm gonna do this AI. I'm terrible at AI. I don't write them often, especially real-time AIs. So we want to be able to see if you're already facing the enemy. I'm actually going to keep that path. I'm gonna say oh, I know what I need to do. In here. Okay, wait, in my create, I need to actually populate that grid. So for actually, let's quickly grab these two over here. Whoops. Why is this being so mean to me? Yeah, this is not gonna work. Let's grab this one here. Oh wait, no, I want to grab this one here. And say var mw for map width. Okay, yeah, this really didn't like me. I'm so confused as to what happened. Var map height is equal to tile map get height map. What am I studying? I study computer science, and next year I'll start game engineering. Sorry for taking that long to answer. So this can be MW and MH, and cell width is, I forgot. Tile map get tile width map. Tile map get tile height map. And it's giving me an error. I'm missing something. HLs cell width. Oh, I'm missing the comma. There we go. What am I making anyway right now? So, I mean, I can probably run it. It's a SuperHot Demake, so it's kind of a, if I don't move, time goes slowly, and if I start moving, it starts moving quickly. I'm trying to work on an AI right now. Yeah, it's difficult. I'm really bad at writing AIs. So for var I, yeah, I equals 0, I is more than map width, increment I am not using room speed. I am using delta timing, stuff like that. Yeah, GML trying to be simple definitely complicates everything, because you don't have access to objects and things like that. You don't have access to so many things. And then you have all these really weird things like DS data structures being indices instead of having their own type and everything. It really feels like whoever's working on GML, which Mike Daly and all that, have been a little lazy when implementing it, because really data structures not being in their own like type That really baffles me because it's not that hard to implement. I mean, unless they've been working on the same code base for 20 years. Have I made schoolwork in GML? Nope. No, Java, C#, C. That's what I've used for university. For var j equals 0, j is more than map height j plus plus. Var t is equal to tile map get map I j. Why not? Because we're not allowed. I mean, it's not that we're not allowed, it's that we had to use certain languages for certain tasks. Though, actually, one of the projects we had was a group project, and we could use whatever technology we wanted. But again, GML in a group project is probably the worst idea ever. So we use C# and Xamarin. Also, I was the only one in the group who knew GML, so that would not have been fun either. If t is not equal to 0, mp grid, what is it? Add cell? Sure. Grid I and j. That is a very strange way to do things, but okay. So now in our enemy, we could just refresh the path every now and then, every couple paths. I think that's probably the easiest solution. So I'm gonna say alarm 0 equals 1. Easier and more flexible than PowerPoint. I don't know. PowerPoint has gotten very powerful these days. You can do a lot with them. I still think PowerPoint is easier. Alright, so let's say we refresh it every 30, 60. Yeah, when animating, PowerPoint is not that great. I use Blender as soon as I want to animate. I haven't done much for my YouTube with Blender. I've done 2 videos maybe, out of which I overlaid something with Blender. Yeah. Actually, let's do this every half second. It shouldn't be too slow. I can do mp grid path I mp dot grid my path. Xstart will be, I don't know if that's in grid or in pixels. It's in pixels. Where did I put my, oh. Let's put it here. I actually really like using the GameMaker editor from GameMaker Studio 1. I would often boot up GameMaker Studio 1 for something, for like some pretty simple image editing. X, Y, goal will be oPlayer .x, oPlayer .y, and all diagonals, yes, or true. So now we have our path, and we can do path start. I don't like using path start because now we're using time. So save that. Inside our, let's see, workspace, cells tab, let's just put it over here. We want to know how far along the path we are. Given that we're using MP, our paths will have points which are evenly spaced. So we can have a t value, which is where we are at. And we can increment that t value and get closer and closer to it. So in it, I can say t equals 0. Inside the alarm, once we create a new path, t is equal to 0 again. And every time we step, I can do t plus is equal to adjusted delta time. And I'll figure out how to divide that later. Haven't made a game. I mean, I've made a... yeah, not big ones. I've made parts of games and I've made very small games. I've never made anything big. I just don't have the perseverance. I mean, I'm trying to now. I have this game I'm really trying to finish. But yeah. I can now do var... I can say x equals path get x path t y equals path get y path t. And so I know this isn't perfect, it's gonna do some really weird stuff when it gets to the end, but we can figure it out later. Oh yeah, I need my controller. So when I start moving, you can see that the enemy will start moving towards me. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah. And I mean, I can't kill it yet, but yeah, that's working. Now I just need to make it move faster towards me, and I also...
Pizza.
Ooh, I got pizza. Thanks. And now I got my pizza, I'll be even slower at making this game. Alright, so we got our enemy to move. I'm just gonna resize our sprites so they're half the size, so that we don't clip through the walls. Image. Resize all frames. So you get the same one as I did.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Hey, don't keep them hanging.
Sorry. I'm really hungry. 3232. Not the best scaling. They should probably work on that. Anyhow, got our player object, scale that as well. Image. Resize all frames. 32. Alright, and if we run it, I'll try to play with a single hand. Seems to be working just fine. Also, the speed at which the enemy is moving seems just about right as well. Cool. Alright. So what I want to do now is have the player be able, the enemy being able to get killed. So I'll say that when the enemy collides with our bullet, you'll just we'll use health actually. So go inside initialize e health. I think is health still a built-in variable, because that would suck. It is. E health equal, or actually, let's make this short. HP equals 100. Collision with this HP. Let's say we need to get hit by a bullet 20 times or so. They're saying hello to you again.
Yo.
And I can say if HP is smaller or equal to 0.
We look very gay this close to each other. It's difficult seeing as we're brothers, but okay.
Yeah. Instance. Typing with single hand is harder than I thought. Destroy. And then I'll add a cleanup event over here. Path underscore free, is it?
Well fast.
Sure. Path delete path, so that we don't have memory leaks. And run. Yeah. Oh, yes. And probably delete the bullet when it gets hit, so that your bullet doesn't just shoot through everyone. So you can do, and that's actually a nice feature of GameMaker Studio 2. Well, I said it's a nice feature. It's a pretty expected feature. They just finally implemented it. You can pass arguments into instance destroy, so you don't have to do with every time. Yeah, that seems to work. At the moment we get to... Oh, that's a good point. Let's go ahead and run it. Actually, I can just shoot in this direction all the time. Oh, yeah, it's getting slower and slower every time. Because I'm using parametric. Yeah, that's not right. It's not a point, it's a circle. Yeah, the thing is, because I'm using the parametric thing, like the t variable, every time, when it gets closer, and when it recalculates the map, it's going slower, so what I need to do is change my code a little bit. I can actually get a direction, I can approximate the derivative of my path by doing path, okay, so I can do dx and dy is equal to x minus, or actually, would it be, let me think, if I'm towards the right, oh thanks, I've got some tonic. If I'm going towards the right, I want it's going to be greater, yeah, minus x over here. Yeah, I will do that, but first I want to fix this error I have. So I need to find out what my current t is. And for that I will need to know how close I am to my path, and luckily I actually created that code not too long ago. If you follow me on Twitter, you may have seen that. I created a whole library of code to get, this should be toward me, to get the nearest point on a path, which is great. So, nearest point on oh, this is going to be a bit complicated though. There's a lot of scripts to import. Can I do this? Twitter, yes, at GMWolfTuts for tutorials. Okay, my scripts didn't seem to want to import. Alright, let's just import these one by one. Nearest point on segment. Nearest point on segment T. Path get dx. I don't know if I need that one. I think that's just for collisions, but whatever. Path get dy. Path get nearest point is the one I want. No, actually I want nearest distance, but no. Oh, I do want the nearest point. Point distance squared, I think I need that one as well. And point in path, may as well import it. So these are all scripts I wrote to find the nearest point on a path. It's actually a bit complicated, so I'm not going to describe how it works. But essentially, it splits up the whole path into segments and finds the closest one, and then finds the point on the actual point on the path. So I can say t is actually going to be equal. I can do var t equals. Wait, that means I don't need my t variable in here. Path get nearest point. The path, actually, does that return an array of x and y? Yes, it does, which is not what I want. I want to get, this returns t, so I need to use path get nearest point internal. Here we go. Oh, path, point x and point y. That's x and y. Accuracy, I can't remember what a good value was. I'm just going to guess 64 is going to work. Precision, I want to be within 1 pixel. Actually, I remember this can be way lower. I could put that to 16. T1 and T2, 0 and 1. Yeah. So again, this is a script I created to get the nearest point along a path. And this will give me an approximate differential at this point. So now I can say x plus is, I can normalize my dx and dy. So dx, so I can get the length, so dl var, I should probably put these as local variables here. Var dl is equal to the square root of dx times dx plus dy times dy. dx, and if dl is greater than 0, dx times equals, no, divided. I could do this in a single thing. So I could do times equals move speed divided by dl, and dy times equals to move speed divided by dl, and eventually x plus is equal to dl, y plus equals to dx, y plus equals to dy. So that should mean will not slow down when it gets near to me, but it will probably crash. Or not crash. Oh, whoa, no, now it just passes out because I forgot to use my delta time. So I'm going to parenthesize this here and multiply by adjusted delta time. Multiply by adjusted delta time. Keep spelling it wrong. I'm going to grab Amber Slice. Yeah, I know.
Best game ever.
Mm-hmm. So, you have errors. No formative statements, apparently. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see where the problem is. Let's save and clean the cache. Run again. It's not running for some reason. Symbol expected. Line 2. Oh, I have a semicolon. I'm not supposed to. I wonder when I got that one in. Because it was working fine before. Yeah. Kumar, just realized it, and just as I did, you posted, you put that comment there, so yeah. So yeah, it's now moving at a constant speed, and then it reaches me, and now it's stuck to me. Okay. So now I can add a radius at which it will stop shooting. Which will start shooting and stop moving. So this is my enemy. I'm gonna call this target radius, and I'm gonna set this to, let me think, 200 pixels, maybe. When I move, I can, in my step event, I could use a state machine, but I'm a bit lazy, so I'm going to say if instance distance, is that a thing? Or distance to object. I guess I can put an instance in here as well. I'll just use an object. Again, I shouldn't be doing it that way, but that's okay.
Felix, moi je sors. À demain du coup.
Alright, see ya.
Enjoy. Peace everybody.
I'm gonna need both hands for this. Yeah. Alright. I don't need this to be here. Else, I can start shooting. I probably need some kind of cooldown thing. So, where's my instance? I'll add a reload thing, so alarm 1 is equal to 1. Alarm 1 is equal to Oh, I should probably use delta time for this once again. So actually not using alarms. I can say reload equals. Let's say you can shoot every a quarter of a second, 0.25. Well, gets me motivated to do my projects. I don't know, it's a bit random sometimes. So. I now know that I can reload in 0.25 seconds. So I can have something called active reload. I don't know what to call it. iRandom or just random, depends what you're doing. iRandom will return an integer. Let's just call this reload, set it to, and this one can be reload time. Here we go. And every step in here in our shooting code, let's get the full screen version. Let's say if reload time is greater than 0, reload time. Ooh, what I could do in a very simple swoop is say reload time minus equals to adjusted delta time. If reload, actually just reload, wrong one. If reload is smaller than 0 or equal to 0, reload equals reload time, and we can start creating a bullet. And we could use an enemy bullet as a different object. I think I'll do that. I'm a bit too lazy to add too many variables in my... yeah, I'm a bit too lazy otherwise. Actually, no, I'll do this properly. I'll delete my me bullet. I'll have my bullet have a... In SuperHot, do you guys know if you can get hit by... if enemies can get hit by their... by the, like, other enemies' bullets? Because if they can, I'll do it that. I'm just going to assume they can. It'll be a lot more interesting that way. I'll do owner equals undefined. Or no one is actually probably a better one. Save. When you create when the player creates a bullet, probably right at the bottom, isn't it? Let's say bullet.owner equals ID. When the enemy collides with a bullet, it first needs to check if other.owner is equal to ID, oops, double equals, then exit. Yeah, I'll add line of sight afterwards. So, and now I can have my enemy shoot as well. So, I'm gonna actually copy part of the... no, I'll do it. I'll say var bullet equals instance create. Okay. Create layer and instance create layer x y layer and bullet, and then bullet dot owner equals ID, bullet dot was it dx? I'm gonna have to calculate dx and dy, so I can say var dx. I already used dx. I'm gonna use bullet dx equals, and I'm gonna eat more pizza. Okay. So what I'm doing is now normalizing my dx and dy. So BDL equals the square root of the square. Actually, I can just do B dx times BDX plus BDY times BDY. I should probably make this a local variable again. Alright, well, good night. Zimdarim. Again, I probably mispronounced that. Yeah. Good night. BDX divided is equal to BDL. BDY divided is equal to BDL. And instance create layer. Oh, I already have my bullet, don't I? No, do I? Yes, I have my bullet. So I can say bullet dot dx is equal to bdx, and I need to multiply it by some speed, which I don't think I have over here. So I can say bullet velocity, and I don't remember what the player bullet velocity was, but I think it was 600. And here we have it. The enemy should be able to shoot now. I deserve some more pizza. So it doesn't seem to be working. Well, hang on. It did just shoot. Yeah, so actually my radius is way too small. So really 200 is too small. Oh yeah, let's make it 600. Okay, something is definitely wrong. I am calculating my distance wrong, maybe. Distance to object. Okay, I don't like this distance to object thing. I'm going to change it to point distance instead. X, Y. And I'm going to change to I'm going to change to using instances instead. So go in here, rename my player to I player dot x, I player dot y, and everywhere where I use I player, O player, I'll change it to I player as well. And my apologies for the beta eating noises. Alright, so... Okay, still isn't working. I'm definitely doing something. Oh yes! I'm getting the distance, but I'm not comparing it to anything. So as long as it's smaller, then... And yes, Kyle, you totally can, and I strongly encourage you to do it because it's a lot less risky that way. You can have. I always use it for my global instances. Now it seems my target radius is still too big, even though it's 200. You set it to 128. I know that's pretty small. Okay, now it's that something is definitely wrong again. So Cal Delso is asking if giving instances a name could it potentially be used to tell a certain trigger to open a specific door, and it can. In fact, you could already do something similar in GameMaker 1.x, and I made a tutorial on it called renaming instances. Later on, I also made one about color coding instances to do the same effect. They're both pretty good ways of doing things. I think I'm more partial to the color coding one, but because it's more visual in the room editor, but it is less flexible than renaming instances. Alright. So for some reason, I'm gonna set... I'm just gonna try putting this in parentheses just in case, and again lowering the target radius to something stupidly small to see if that fixes anything. And it's not. It's now constantly in this shooting phase, which is not quite right. Kyle, I had the same feeling when I realized you could do that. I had this pretty complex piece of code and I realized it was so much simpler by renaming instances. One thing that could be interesting is using paths and having a path at the start and the end so that you have this nice line in the room editor to show you. That's also a nice, that could also be a nice idea as well. Again, if you check my tutorials, there's this really nice color coding one I suggest you go have a look at. Alright, so this isn't working. It's if the distance... Am I missing something like obvious? Alright, I'm gonna set this to 0. It will never be smaller than 0, so I'll know what the problem is. Yeah, something is definitely very wrong. Did I rename the wrong instance? That's very much possible. No, I didn't. I renamed the right instance. Save and clean. I'm definitely missing something. Oh, yes, greater than. Yeah, of course. So I can put that back to 200. And run. Yeah, so you want the distance to the player to be bigger than something in order to move towards him, but as soon as I get close, he starts shooting. So now I should probably add some form of line of sight. So that if I'm close enough, or I have line of sight. I think right now I should make the enemy shoot a bit more often as well, so I can actually change that to 0.05. That'll be interesting to see. Actually, probably 0.1. That's probably better. So right now the player can do this. Yes, I just said I was going to change something. Oh yeah, line of sight, of course. So I'm going to have to create a new script for line of sight. So I'm going to do Alt-C. I'm just going to call it line of sight. And it will take as a parameter the X start, X1, Y1. I should probably do x2, y2, and the map. I'll probably put the map as the first argument. So var map equals argument 0. Var, and I see the stream is nearing the 2-hour mark, so I think I'll have to end soon. But as soon as I get a line of side script working, I'll add a bunch of enemies and see how things go. And probably add make the enemies a bit stronger, have some more health. So, I should probably save as well in case this crashes. Also, my stream is still going. Yes, okay. So, var, I want to do it that way, so. Var s is equal to the minimum between tile map get tile height and tile map get tile width, and this will be how far we step every time. And then I could say for var t equals I need to step that many pixels every time. So, I have to think about this. I'll do it that way. I can say var L is equal to point distance x1, y1, x2, y2. Var t equals, actually dt, oh that's already taken. I can just reuse s divided by length, or yeah, naturally I'll say var I equals, no not I, let's say di equals length divided by s. So that's how many, so if it's 5 pixels long, if it's s divided by l actually. And I can say for var I equals 0, I is smaller than 1, I plus equals di. That should probably work. If at the bottom here I'll return true, and up here I'll say var xx is equal to lerp between x1 and x2 by I, where yy equals lerp x y1 y2 by I, and then say var t equals tile map get map get add pixel map x x y y, if t return false. Okay, so that should be a pretty simple line of sight script that I can use inside my enemy over here. So I want to say if, actually I'm going to say var r for radius, so whether this is going to be if the radius condition is met, and then var, so I can say if, oh it's gonna complain, isn't it? Var, this is gonna be the line of sight one. Actually I probably, I don't know if I already used that one, I'm gonna use it anyways. Equals line of sight map x, y, I player dot x, I player dot y. And over here, I can just get if r and l. No, if r and not l. There we go. That should work. So hi, the things you do in GameMaker are like really next level. You're awesome. Am I gonna upload this? Yes, I am. Also, thanks for saying I am awesome. I don't know how true that is. Alright, so there's no line of sight, so it comes and see me, and then there is line of sight. And then I move behind a wall, no line of sight, he comes and see me. Now, this doesn't seem right. If the radius is greater and there isn't a line of sight, or there isn't a line of sight, here we go. For some reason he's not moving. Okay, so he's shooting towards me. I can get behind this wall. And if I shoot, he comes and sees me. And now he's just shooting against the corner of the wall, which is kind of a bug, but okay. Yeah, for some reason the enemy isn't moving. I am using ADT. So maybe I have to make ADT a bit faster. The min time, let's make this a bit bigger. Let's make it 0.1. Alright, he's still not moving for some reason. Which is strange because he should be. Alright, but as you can see, this is going to be interesting because I can move behind here, and even though he's close enough, he comes to find me on the other side of the wall, which is cool. This is actually probably the most advanced real-time AI I've built. Well, I don't know. Maybe not advanced, maybe not real, yeah, I don't know. Most interesting, maybe? I don't know. Right, so this is really strange. I am using the adjusted delta time, and yet... Oh well. I'm gonna leave it as is. As I promised, I'm gonna fill this room up with a bunch of enemies. See how this goes. Now, they can shoot each other. Ooh, and they can't kill me yet, so I should probably change that. So I'm gonna go inside the player. Well, first I'm gonna make the enemy a lot stronger, because right now I can shoot so much, it's dumb. So I'm gonna say that they need 100, let's say 1,000, 200 bullets to get killed. And then I'll have my player have HP as well. That's only give him 50 HP. Actually 1 HP. When he gets hit by a bullet, he dies. Collision with O bullet. If other.owner is equal to ID, then exit. And then I can do instance destroy other and instance destroy me, because we have only 1 HP, right? So instance spelled like so. So now I should be able to die, which is going to be interesting. So the game crashes because the player object doesn't exist and everyone's checking for it. But let's see how long I can last. Ooh. Slightly trickier than I thought, than I anticipated. Alright, let's try to get him first. Oh yeah, this isn't easy actually. Oh wow. I wonder how well this shows on the stream. Ooh, this is actually really hard. I'm gonna make this easy by going inside my time object, setting my minimum time to half of it what it was before, giving me more time to think.